All right, so we're gonna finish up with a fast food recipe that you actually asked me to make at home.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
Something with beef, maybe a burger.
All right, there you go. So you had a smash burger at a restaurant and you were like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite way to enjoy a burger.
Yeah.
And he was trying to tell me how to make it. And he's like, and I was like, can you explain like why it's so good? Like what makes it different from a regular burger? And do you want to explain?
I feel like it's just like skinnier, but it's like also like charred a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it has like texture, which is my thing.
So when I first made them at home, I just then thought, oh, it's just a skinnier burger. So I just pressed them down as much as I could when I made them, and I just thought they just have to be skinny, thin burgers. But actually, when I did a little bit more research, I found out that what makes a smash burger different from a regular burger is that you actually use something too heavy to push it down. So it could be a cast iron skillet, it could be the bottom of a measuring cup, a metal measuring cup, anything that's not gonna obviously light on fire when you're cooking the burger on the skillet. But it essentially is just something heavy that's really pushing it down. And then you wanna use really high heat. So I like to use my griddle for this, but a cast iron skillet would also be really good. And you just want it to be super high heat so that it kind of chars it, just like you said, and makes it a little crispy on the outside and edges. For this recipe, you'll need 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt, 2 teaspoons of mustard, a tablespoon of ketchup, 1/2 teaspoon of white wine vinegar, 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And for the burgers, you'll need 1 pound of lean ground beef, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. So Sean, you're gonna make a sauce that's kind of like a Big Mac sauce. So we have Greek yogurt, mustard, ketchup, and white wine vinegar. The only thing you have to measure out is 1/2 teaspoon of white wine vinegar, and you can mix it all in this bowl.
Okay.
Little spatula. And then I'm gonna season the beef, and really it's pretty simple seasoning. Onion powder, paprika, garlic powder, and salt. And I like to use a lot of seasoning whenever I make burgers. That really is what makes them taste so good, is lots of seasoning. So Sean and I don't eat out a whole lot, but when we do eat out, I feel like we do make healthier choices. And we oftentimes choose places that are a little bit more convenient because we have a 2-year-old. So sit-down restaurants are not really our jam right now.
Yeah.
Sitting down in a restaurant
Always got about 10 minutes.
Yeah,
maybe.
for an hour is just not really in the cards right now. So we usually do choose really fast places when eating out. So some of the healthier options that we have found are places like Blaze or Mod Pizza. So if you can find a pizza place where you can make your own quick pizzas, we're literally in and out of there in like 30 minutes. So it kind of is, it's pretty much fast food. And then what I like about that is you can choose cauliflower crust pizza. So it makes it a little bit healthier. Usually there's gluten-free as well. So different options for the crust. And then you can just load it up with veggies. And I just do a little bit of Parmesan cheese and tons of veggies. So that's my pizza. And then Qdoba. So there are, at Qdoba, I get a salad with chicken and tons of veggies on it. So I just try to stick to protein and veggies as much as I can when I'm eating out. Not always. Sometimes I enjoy whatever I want. You know, that sounds good even if it's not protein and veggies, but I honestly really do enjoy protein and veggies. So, and it's what makes me feel my best. So that's usually what we do, is we just look for something on the menu, and sometimes I even create my own thing at a restaurant. So I'll just say, can I make my own salad? And usually they say fine. They might not always love me, but they always say yes, and so why not ask? So that's a really good way to kind of get a healthier modification on something that you see on the menu, is just by simply asking and making it your own. Yeah. So I'll do burgers, but I'll do a lettuce wrap instead of getting it on a bun. So now we're gonna go over to the griddle and we're gonna smash these burgers down. So we have our burgers, and really you don't even need to make them very thin. I mean, you could even roll them into balls and just leave them as balls if that's easy. And then we're gonna put them on a hot griddle. Or like I said, a cast iron skillet would work really good. You could use a stainless steel skillet as well. but I just really like how hot a griddle gets and the fact that you can smash them and they can spread out on a griddle. So I just have my pancake griddle here, and I find this works the best. Then I'm gonna take this burger smasher. Now again, you can use a measuring cup, the bottom of a pan, whatever you have that is gonna be safe with heat. But I got this just online and super inexpensive, and it smashes them down really well. Okay, so now we're not gonna touch these. We're gonna let them fully cook on one side. If you keep flipping them over and over, they're not gonna get that crispy char that you want on each side. So I would say, depending on how big the burger is, maybe 2 to 3 minutes on a really hot griddle. If your griddle isn't extremely hot, you might wanna do a little bit more, like 4 minutes. And again, it's also up to you of how you like your burgers cooked, so you could do a little bit less than 2 minutes if you like them a little bit more rare. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and flip these over. You can see how we got that nice kind of crust on that side of the burger. And that's what we're looking for. Now we're gonna finish these up by just letting them cook for a few more minutes on this side, and then we'll top them with our sauce and our buns. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my burgers that I just cooked and I'm gonna top them with some of our sauce. Well, actually I'm gonna put a little bit of the cheese first. So if you have a cheese lover with your burger, then go ahead and put that on first because it's gonna melt on the hot burger. Then we're gonna put some of the sauce on top. And then we will put some pickles. If you like pickles, of course, you could do tomatoes. Now, if this was Sean's burger, he would only have cheese. He wouldn't even put the sauce because there's something about like a sauce on a burger, he likes to dip it in ketchup. So we wouldn't even do the sauce for Sean's burger, but that looks so, so good. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue to make the rest of these burgers, leave the sauce and everything else off for Sean. And then we're gonna go ahead and enjoy them together.